Good afternoon. My name is Mauricio and I'm going to present an important topic. New form. Legal translation, but in this case, inherent problems of legal translation. In this case, we're going to explain some parts, chapter 3 and 4. That's important. And to start, third chapter is related to the significance of legal translation. So, legal terms are getting more use to share to everyone. That's commonly happen. That is commonly happening. Ralph Linton points out the comparatively growth of human culture as a whole has been due to the ability of expressing and also borrowing some terms from each culture to another. That what he said Ralph Linton, I agree, because we must exchange terms to expand our vocabulary, to look. That implies in other areas like medical, political, and even among others. In this case, general international law depends on translation, but it's because the words are not just it's an expression, but also are part of a text. We can also add in addition that we as humans we can use language, or we can think that legal language are predictable but in future actions. And what does it mean? That we can detect future actions, behavior of future actions in people. And these legal language are important. That's why we have an example of communication gap. But also, in this case, Jimmy Carter visited Poland in 1977. In a conference, was explaining or giving opinion, and one phrase was started like this: I have learned opinions and understand your desire for the future. But unfortunately, his interpreter, said that I desire Paul's carnal. And that's kind of different. Out of sense, that doesn't make sense in this case. So that's why we must focus on it. Also, European communication law are important because they have many languages, and it's like a challenge now in law, international law. So that means that we have a variety that can reach. The next chapter 4, is related to evaluating the legal translations. So in this case, we must focus on the quality of the translation, the result, in the target language. And that means that we can use neologism, even repetition of words and another kind, to give a good part, a good explanation, but not obviously a part of the text. It may be down the text at the end, or in a glossary part of the text. But we must think that that's not the only thing, because we can just find other ways. But who knows? Finally, for instance, in the United States, we see that many Latins, or even other Asian, other people who don't know English, and try to use legal translation for obviously in these terms. So that means that they need. It's important, but also we can find some problems in this case. So that's why I choose this topic, because it's important to me and I like it.